I wouldn't really worry about the start if we are able to maintain this, but let's wait and see. Actually, the best placed person at this juncture to tell us what foreign investors are telling us and how he assesses the economy is with me. The Joint Managing Director of Motilal Oswal, Raamdeo Agarawal, is with me just minutes ahead of the start of a very interesting investor conference at a very interesting time. Raamdeo, good morning and thank you very much. I know you're in a rush. It's very kind of you to come and join us now.
Very good morning.
You must have spoken to a lot of investors, over the past 24 hours. I'm sure you welcome them all to the summit.
Yes.
What is the general sense you're getting? Is there since even now a feeling that this is the place where growth is compared to anywhere else in the world?
So I think everybody is in a very expectant mood. There is a session by Mohan Bhagwat that's going to be the highlight of the day tomorrow. So a lot of people are making sure that, so what has happened is that though it's an investor conference and corporate conference, more of it.
Yes.
But right now I think it is tilting towards more like a government policy initiatives and how prepared they are to face the sort of storm in the global economy, and so how prepared we are and how we are responding, so-called Achhe Din, how far it is away, what are we doing. So more about government at any level, at a secretary level, at minister level, at ministers bosses level,
Yes.
So from every side everybody is landing here. In fact, the response is unprecedented in the sense that we have about 750 registrations. Of that, more than 20%, upwards of 150, 160 people have actually landed from overseas.
Okay.
And in fact, the hotel doesn't have enough rooms for them. So clearly the response is overwhelming, more probably from the investor side. And I think the key theme, as the lineup looks, is not going to be so much about the corporate performance, which is in any case very lackluster right now. Of course, that will be examined, and corporate preparedness in response to the current situation in global and local macro is there. But really, the policymakers, what is their new? How they are tackling new? Because country has come this far with the old policy. Now you want to go to different levels altogether, different levels of growth, different levels of distribution. So what are we doing? I think that will be examined.
Actually, you put your finger on it. Over the last 48 hours, we've heard at the G20 all the finance ministers and central bankers of the 20 most powerful countries.
Yeah.
And the one thing that IMF, these are all pundits of market economics.
Yeah.
All these pundits are only looking to their governments, not so much central bankers. Central bankers have done what they can. They're all looking to their governments to give more stimulus, to do more, to pump up their respective economies. So you're right, focus in a developing country like ours will be on the government. But, before I come to the number of government speakers you have, I guess, railway ministers and other people coming. Is there any positive response either from you yourself and from your investors to this, Jan Dhan and the payment bank license? Is there a lot of hope that, the payment bank kind of lays the last line to the Jan Dhan accounts? Is there any hope in that? I mean, that is government initiative. Yeah,
so Rata, this is a little early because now sessions will open up now.
Okay.
In next 48
First
hours.
speaker is Chanda Kochar.
Chanda Kochar. So in the Q&A, she will speak whatever she wants to speak. But in response to that, what is going on in the investor's mind?
Okay.
What are troubling them? I mean, those things will say, like you just talked about a corporate failure right now.
Yes.
So those things will come up in the questioning, and then by the end of the day, we will know what actually is troubling or what they are excited about or what they will take away from here, speaker after speaker. And you get surprised at the end of it how many things are changing. So it's all for the day. As it develops. Okay.
But can you tell us about the highlights in terms of government participation? I think you have Anil Swarup joining.
Yeah, Anil Swarup is there, Coal Secretary. Then we have...
you have the Railway Minister coming later on?
Yes, and then we have this Mohan Bhagwat and I think Haryana Chief Minister. Then I'm forgetting, but...
Haryana Chief Minister is also
I think he's also there.
Yeah, I guess a lot of work is happening from the Chief Ministers, and Haryana I think will be rewarded also because of the one rank.
Vinayak Chatterjee is there. I mean, though he's a private sector, but he's a man of infrastructure, so he'll be there to speak about what's really happening in the development of infrastructure side. Then we have Payment Bank CEO speaking in the evening too.
ATM CEO.
Yes, CEO. So I mean, you get to hear originally from him what exactly is the outlook, and they have some grand plans.
Okay.
Plans can always be grand, what happens in the...
No, they have delivered in a sense.
Yeah, so they have become one of the hottest property in the online space, and he's going to be speaking here. Then we have Sanjeev Mehta from Hindustan Lever. So what's happening in the food and consumer side, those things will come up. Vishal Sikka, of course. So lineup is there, and and let's see, what comes up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your sense about the automobile numbers, car sales numbers that we got for August were not as cheerful as we got, say, in June and July.
July.
A trend seemed to be building, and that got disrupted, you thought?
I mean, nothing happens in a straight line. So things are, and I think monsoon somewhere faltered, and that might be one of the reasons. But I mean, it's just a month blip is not a problem, because and even company might be changing the product mix because they are in a massive launch phase. So what exactly is happening to the company's product lineup is not very clear.
Okay, but generally, what is your sense from the way in which the markets have evolved? Are you getting a sense that this huge volatility that we saw at least is calming down, or do you think this market is actually headed much lower?
Yeah, good thing about the stock market is that it's always new. It's very refreshing. I mean, we never knew that with Modi Sahab in action and oil at less than 50, well below 50, and there will be FIs going away from here.
Yes. Yes.
So that's happening. And on top of it, another thing is that DIIs or domestics will be buying left, right and center. So you cannot, I mean, there's so many variables, and it's almost a perfect storm in the global economy.
Yes.
I mean, China has gone wrong, America is now raising rates. So what do you do? Europe is kind of struggling. So commodity prices are slumping at a very rapid pace. What it does to the producing country, what it does to the consuming country in terms of their exports. So there are a lot of moving parts in that, and investor, I mean, and there are huge winners and huge losers. So how do you position your portfolio and investment? That's a key challenge. Maybe when there is too much of activity outside, you have to remain very calm. That might be a best policy problem. Yeah.
Actually, at this point in time, the markets are looking like they will turn around from that 7650 mark. At the moment, they are starting with a 30-point uptake. We are now 10 minutes into the pre-opening, so these are only bids, but there is more green than red on the screen at this point in time, and the Bank Nifty also is up 0.6%. Sensex and Nifty are up 0.4%, and decent amount. And it's a decent mix of stocks. There's Tata Power, Tata Motors, Coal India, IndusInd, ACC, Tata Steel, Infosys, Cipla, Bank of Baroda, ICICI Bank. These are the stocks in the green. So it's a fair mix of stocks that appear to be finding their feet at this point in time. But you were speaking about FIIs leaving at a juncture which you wouldn't have expected. After the Modi government is in and probably has done something. Varinder has sent a list of stocks where so many of them are below their May 2014 levels. That with the advent of Modi. Okay, you can speak about Amtech Auto and Jindal Steel and Power for obvious reasons. Steel is a commodity problem, and Amtech may have specific problems. But look at the list of stocks which you thought should have benefited from a strong government. GMR Infra, Reliance Communications, JK Tyre, Supreme Infrastructure, Hindalco, Tata Steel. Okay, again they are telecom. Titagar Wagons, Bank of India, UCO Bank, IOC, Indian Overseas Bank. These banking as well as infrastructure are areas where you expected the government to do, and they're all trading a good 50% below their pre-May levels.
Sure.
Do you think we are in danger of losing FI investor interest rather seriously?
No, I think you have to look at the aggregate corporate profits. And that profit is fairly stable. I mean, of course, the who is winning, who is losing, that's a different set of companies. But I think corporate profits are fairly stable over the year. Now, FIs are interested in seeing that aggregate corporate profits go up. Not only FIs, any investor would like to see the aggregate, of course. So the whole thing is that corporate profits are kind of stable. There are huge winners, there are huge losers, as I said. So what is happening is, in the short run, I mean, as it is said, the short run markets are very, very unpredictable and irrational. Shorter the time period, more irrationality creeps in. And longer you take, it almost becomes perfectly rational. So when we talk about 12 months or something, it's just fairly, I would not say short term, but it's a more rational period, I would think. And in there, what is happening is, wherever there is no performance or there is no possibility of performance, markets are very clearly punishing them, whether it is sold by FI or whether it is DI. And let me tell you, stocks don't go to the higher level or lower level because somebody is buying or selling. Because at a given point of time, there is always an owner of a stock, whether it is called DI or, and stock doesn't know what is the color of the money.
Absolutely.
The issue is what is the earnings power. You grow the stock by 50%, let every single FI go out of that stock. Still the stock will go up. That's the power of the markets. You know, that's the faith in the earnings and earnings growth. So if a stock or the total corporate profit for an aggregate market and for an individual stock, if that company's profit and profitability and the growth doesn't happen, obviously the market will be static, or maybe in pessimistic scenario somewhat lower.
Absolutely. I will come to you in a minute to ask you where exactly you are seeing these resilience in terms of corporate performance. But just a word about markets. I think it's only a minute for the markets to open, and at this point in time we are seeing a decent amount of green on the screen. I think it's about 0.4% higher. The Nifty is at very close to the 7700 mark, still a little bit shy, 7685, and the Sensex stands at 25,300. I think we have a minute more for the market. So let me just ask you this. Because we are seeing lower prices, or at least not higher prices, you are going to see a problem with a lot of FMCG consumer stocks not being able to show higher value or higher revenue. Are they showing enough of volume growth to make up for it? What are the initial signs you are getting? Is the lower inflation working in their favor? Are they able to increase volumes?
It depends on the company. Say start with this, say Maruti and all. They are showing, see, as far as the opportunity is concerned, on a 10-year scale basis, you can't deny that India is one of the largest possible car market.
Yes.
Okay, now how do you make it happen in the short term? On a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, and how is the competitive situation? Even if the people demand a car, who is going to take it? So now the price leader, volume leader, quality leader is Maruti. So what's happening there? You know, and they have shown so far, if you look at 4-5 months, I think they have done better than what market expected ever. You know, and so much so that last month, I would rather go by their price action. They raised the prices. If actually the underlying demand was very weak, they would have not raised the prices. And actually in a scenario when their actually cost of production is going down. So there is a margin pressure.
I'll just come to you in a minute, because the bell has gone and the markets have opened 1/3% higher. 86% points higher, 16 higher on the Nifty. It's giving up a bit rather rapidly, but still up 0.2. I'm trying to see if it's finding any stability. 0.1 up at this point in time. So it started off with 1/4% higher and now reached almost flat terrain. But the mid caps are up 1/3%, and the bank Nifty also coming into flat terrain. Actually, very rapidly they have come into flat. Probably at any point in time they might see some bit of a red tick. Yes, the red has come, but very, very briefly, 0.01, 0.02%. So actually the green lasted for exactly perhaps 30 seconds.